to 11 a.m.
For the Repairing of the Breach radio program, with me, Bishop Showinau Thomas.
The scripture says, and they that shall be of thee shall build the old waste places.
Thou shalt raise up the foundation of many generations, and thou shalt be called the repairers of the breach, the restorers of the paths to dwell in.
Don't miss it. Repairing the Breach radio program with Bishop Sherwin R. Thomas on the Street 919 FM every Sunday from 10:05 a.m. to 11 a.m.
Good about I'm looking like a real bad.
Are you ready for that boat experience again? The Sea Champion and the Embassy say, book with us for that unforgettable boat ride experience. Sea Champion leaving from King's Wharf, San Fernando, and the Embassy leaving from Breakfast Shed, Port of Spain, or Westside Trinidad. For more information, call 399-5959, 281-4723, or email us at coralvisiontt@gmail.com. Book now and reserve your cruise.
Hey, that boat I look like it's on
Trinidad and Tobago has given so much to the world. The steel pan, carnival, goat racing, and best of all, the world-famous Zinger was invented right here in 1984, setting the standard of delicious fried chicken sandwiches forever. Get the double-breaded, extra juicy, 100% Trini Zinger, only at KFC. The KFC Zinger, proud to be a Trini. You're welcome, world.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Broadcasting from Trinidad to the world. The Street 919FM.com. News from the Street 919FM.com. Here's what's happening.
Good afternoon. I am Vanessa Thomas with the 12 o'clock news on the Street 919 FM and online, Facebook and YouTube. In the headlines, Local Development Ministry still working on clearing roads that remain impassable in some parts of Trinidad. The Police Complaints Authority determines PC Gilks was killed by one of his own. Consumer Affairs acknowledges high chicken prices, says it's an international challenge, and internationally Bitcoin is set for worst quarterly drop in a decade. And now the news in detail. The Ministry of Local Development and Rural Government said in an update last night that it is working on clearing some roads in the northeast region of Trinidad that remain impassable following heavy rains from the potential tropical storm that was expected to hit Trinidad and Tobago Tuesday night. The ministry said it received 4 reports of landslips along the Paria Road in Toco. The ministry said water levels were too high last night to clear the roadway and that cleanup activities would take place from this morning. Up to late last night, parts of the roadway along Paria Road, Toco, were impassable, and drivers were advised to either shelter in place or try alternative routes. The ministry also noted a landslide along the North Coast Road between Las Cuevas and La Fillette as a result of heavy rainfall. In other news, the Police Complaints Authority has completed its independent investigation into the fatal shooting of PC Clarence Gilks, and it determined that PC Gilks was killed by one of his own. The investigation also determined that the officers involved tried to cover it up. The PCA completed its investigation in just over 2 months after PC Gilks was shot during an operation in Rich Plain, Diego Martin on April 22nd. A statement sent to the media said this incident is one of the clearest examples of abuse of police power that the PCA has investigated to date. According to the authority, the evidence revealed that TTPS officers shot at an unarmed civilian, and unfortunately, PC Gilks became became an unintended target. Further evidence showed an attempt by the officers to deliberately mislead the acting COP on what happened. In more news, the Consumer Affairs Division issued its poultry price list for June 2022 and said it has noted higher chicken prices, which it said is due to occurrences on the international market. A statement from the division stated that it would like the public to note that reports from the poultry industry indicate that it is currently faced with some challenges and shortages stemming from occurrences on the international market. Consequently, these challenges have resulted in higher prices for chicken at this time. The division reminded consumers that there is a difference between the live weight and dressed weight prices. The Consumer Affairs Division reminds consumers that they should take note that there is an additional fee by poultry retailers for plucking and gutting chicken. Internationally, Bitcoin is on track for its worst quarter in more than a decade, as more central banks and a string of high-profile crypto blow-ups are becoming more aggressive. The 58% drawdown in the biggest cryptocurrency is the largest since the third quarter of 2011, when Bitcoin was still in its infancy, data compiled by Bloomberg show. The decade in between saw several booms and busts, with cryptocurrencies' market value swelling as they gained more widespread acceptance and ultra-low interest rates encouraged risk-taking. But the current market shows a threat to financial stability as Bitcoin prices tumbled again today. Several crypto lenders have been forced to halt withdrawals, leaving depositors scrambling. Also, prominent crypto hedge funds have seen themselves liquidating after running up unsustainable leverage to fuel its bets. And that was the 12 o'clock news on the street, 919 FM, and online, Facebook and YouTube. Recapping the headlines: local development ministries still working on clearing roads that remain impassable in some parts of Trinidad. The Police Complaints Authority determines PC Gilts was killed by one of his own. Consumer Affairs acknowledges high chicken prices, says it's an international challenge, and internationally Bitcoin set for worst quarterly drop in a decade. Do enjoy your afternoon and continue to be safe. I am Vanessa Thomas.
News from the street. 919fm.com.
Bam your belly. I don't understand why you can't keep it real with the black man. Keep it real. The lion them fake and you can't trust none of them. Let me tell you about that friend of me, that friend of me, that friend of me, that friend of me. Quick to sell you out, nobody nasty like that. Let me tell you about that friend of me, that friend of me, that friend of me, that friend of me. They will pretend to build you up, that's right, just to pull you down. They will set you up, that's right, for you to lose your ground. If you fool me once, then shame on you, shame on you. And if you fool me again, then shame on me. And then we don't rock with them. Go away, rock so, rock away. Better rock so, rock so, rock so. Go away, rock so, rock away, rock away. Go away, rock so, rock away. Better rock so, rock so, rock so. Go away, rock so, rock away. They will tell you they love you, but they lie, lie, lie. Let me tell you about that friend of me, that friend of me, that friend of me, that friend of me. Don't pretend to have my back, you're not fooling I. Let me tell you about that friend of me, that friend of me, that friend of me, that friend of me. They will come around you, that's right, and suck out your eye. Then they will disappear, that's right, when you need a blind. If you fool me once, then shame on you, shame on you. And if you fool me again, then Let I rock so, rock so, rock so. Go away, rock so. Walk away. The lion them fake and you can't trust none of them. Let me tell you about got your friend in me, got your friend in me, got your friend in me, got your friend in me. Quick to sell you out, nobody nasty like them. Let me tell you about got your friend in me, got your friend in me, got your friend in me, got your friend in me. They will pretend to build you up, that's right, just to pull you down. They will set you up, that's right, for you to lose your ground. If you fool me once, then shame on you, shame on you. And if you fool me again, then shame on me. And then we don't rock with them. Go away, rock so, rock away. Let I rock so, rock so, rock so. Go away, rock so, rock away, rock away. Go away, rock so, rock away. Let I rock so, rock so, rock so. Go away, rock so, rock away. Come follow me now, come follow me now, no. Light up the shine, yeah. Follow me now, if you know me for your change. Follow me now, come follow me now, no. Wanna hear me now? Me put a fire to burn. Burn every negative vibes. We try to discharge the minds of the children. Cause their hearts are filled with hate. How we make sure that love can flow again. Come follow me now, I'm ready again. Ready to blaze dirty Babylon ways. No one no semi-automatic AKs. Now try to out through the wealth of the grave. Yeah. I'm just trying to change the life of you. Get ready to recruit again. Evil works may not promote them. See one by one, shine your light them up. Let's kick evil out of town, yeah. See one by one, shine your light them up. Shine your light, I beg you, shine your light to know. See one by one, shine your light them up. Let's kick evil out of town, yeah. See one by one, shine your light them up. Shine your light, I beg you, shine your light to know. Well, I am positive and I tell them to beware. Now look at me humility and things say that me fear. Goliaths are wrong, but I got my stone and my sling. Ready to fight against my stands against my king. Deception is like a growing tumor. Some dress like Gucci, but I really Puma. Some love tell half truth, but I really rumor. Holly box, but them a scooter. I'm just trying to change the life of you. To recruit again, evil words may not promote them. See one by one, shine your light them up. Let's kick evil out of town, yeah. See one by one, shine your light them up. Shine your light, I beg you, shine your light to know. See one by one, shine your light them up. Let's kick evil out of town, yeah. See one by one, shine your light them up. Shine your light, I beg you, shine your light to know. I'm from a place where dreams are far-fetched. That no mean me have to steal. Living a life under the blood of Jesus. Feel real, yo. Well, if I no Christ, so we are preach. Little Johnny, I got one shooter. And that's the truth, yeah. The problem have to start from the root, yeah. Select how we pull up that one, yeah. See one by one, shine your light them up. Let's kick evil out of town, yeah. See one by one, shine your light them up. Shine your light, I beg you, shine your light to know. See one by one, shine your light them up. Let's kick evil out of town, yeah. See one by one, shine your light them up. Shine your light, I beg you, shine your light to know. Shine your light, shine your light, whoa. Oh, hear me now. Shine your light, whoa. Well, if I know Christ, so we are free. Little Johnny, I got one shooter. Don't leave me alone. Let us change the generation. Let your light so shine. I'm gonna let it shine.
trap. Oh, when will mankind learn to see that the further we stray from Jehovah's roadmap is the more we invite in misery. There's no better way in this world for peace and total rest. Tried and tested, Christ's way is the best. No philosophy, no creed could ever supersede what the Holy Bible, wonderful oracle, showing the people. Oh yeah, and two shall be in the field, one shall be taken. Oh yeah, two shall be at the wheel, only one will fly. Every stone shall be upturned and false doctrine shaken, while God's truth and his people are lifted high. Yeah. The Father never needed religion or systems of it. His word stands on its own and proves its worth. Yesterday, today, forever. God's promises changes never. And true government is when God leads the leader. Lead them on, yeah. True government is when God leads my leaders. Oh, oh yeah. Serious thing now. Well, hear the message in the rhythm. Oh yeah. Problem number one is so plain and simple. Religion, it has sentenced God to death. With falsehood and folly, they blindfold simple people for power and the profit that they get. Some would burn you at the stake, rack you and wheel you out for mere denial or even doubt. With violence and bribery they try. Is your soul they want to buy? But Jesus said, come freely, all who labor and are weary, come rest in me. Christ say, rest in me. And I say, two shall be in the field, one shall be chosen. Oh yeah, two shall be at the wheel, only one will fly. Man, every stone shall be upturned and false government shaken, while God's truth and his people are lifted high, so high. The Father never needed religion or systems of earth. His truth stands on its own and proves its worth. Yesterday, today, forever. God's statutes changes never. No man, true government is when God leads my leaders. Oh, oh yeah, true government is when God instructing the leader. You're listening to the Father. Oh, oh, oh. Will hear me lament for true government, from the president to the parliament, transforming the government, yeah. Affecting the vagrant on the pavement. We want a leader that is heaven sent. Oh, oh, oh. Mathematicians, physicians, politicians, atheists, etc. deny God or decide to just patronize. Hey, they tolerate Christianity as just a social matter. To bury, for marriage, and to baptize. Hey man, check the first two presidents of the United States of America. They were Orthodox, practicing Christians, because the mysteries of God's plan are nonsense to carnal man. The master say walk by faith, never to extrapolate, cause he's too great. I know he's too great. And I say two shall be in the field, one shall be chosen. Yeah, yeah. Two shall be at the wheel, only one will fly. Man, every stone shall be upturned and false government shaken to the root, while God's truth and his people are lifted high, so high. The Father never needed religion or systems of earth. No, his word stands on its own and proves its worth. Yesterday, today, forever. God's statutes changes never. Oh man, true government is when God leading the lead. electing the leader. We want a government that's tried and true to represent me and you from the Christian crew. Without a word from God, what we gonna do? We want a man from the chosen few. Oh, 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 oh. Somebody love somebody. That is when God leads the leader. It was always true messengers of God's salvation who ruled over the earth's political fate. Oh yeah, but now thanks to the emergence of secular humanism, they separating the church from the state. Ask King David, Joshua, Samuel, Solomon, all these great folks. The new government without God is guesswork. Without prophetic words to guide, the leader bound to slip and slide. So you know when all is said and done, they got to know the Holy One to lead my generation, my congregation. Two shall walk in the field, one shall be chosen. Yeah, two shall be at the wheel, only one will fly. Man, every stone shall be upturned and false doctrine shaken, while God's truth and His people are lifted high, so high. The Father never needed religion or systems of earth. No, 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 His word stands on its own and proves its worth. Yesterday, today, forever. God's promises changes never. No man true government is when God leading the leader, He leading the region, He leading my nation, my generation with a word for reformation. Oh, 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 oh. Me what the congregation sing here. True government is when God leads my leader. When Jehovah Nissi in charge of it, we go have a brighter future for we generation.
Ask not what your country can do for you. What you could do for country that is secure. So if you want to serve, there's a learning curve. But if that prevail, half of our politicians fail. As they take the oath and they make the grade, it look like the treasury, the outer raid. Nothing is exempt. Whatever Rendell does does tempt. From first mate to chief, have an open license to thief. Cause the culture is eat up food. Like Voltaire, we more than crude. The higher you reach, just bend down and suck like a leech. Hey, the culture is eat up food. That is we attitude. The motto is breed. At the trough they come out to feed and feed and feed. Iwer has full copyright on the term. He was the first to confess and affirm, glorifying Bam Bam, but a shorty jamming Bram. The phrase Iwer used, it was his mantra and made excuse. But then just so the term migrate from the art and invade all of them politicians' heart. No, it's not about survival. A doggy dog, real cannibal. With Iwer was need. With this new breed, it's just pure greed. Cause the culture is eat up food. Like Voltaire, we more than crude. The higher you reach, just bend down and suck like a leech. Hey, the culture is eat up food. That is the attitude. The mantra is breed. At the trough they come out to feed and feed and feed. So we are a eat up food society. Fix yourself first, that is the priority. So don't even when some openly doing wrong. Elders who know better holding their tongue, everyone holding strain as the country go down the drain. Their share in the franchise, they can't afford to jeopardize, cause the culture is eat up food, like voltaire we more than crude. The higher you reach, just bend down and suck like a leech. Hey, the culture is eat up food, that is the attitude. The motto is greed, at the trough they come out to feed and feed and feed. When it's now a eat a food society. Fix yourself first, that is the priority. Don't turn down nada, it's Louis Vuitton and Prada. Why? The fish is eating, our race is decaying. This year I eat a food society. It's who could teach more than fake piety. So they like to rust everything you want, man, just huff. Enough ain't enough. Down to paper bags, yes, you stuff. Cause the culture is eat up food, like voltaire we more than crude. Don't give a damn when you see we come out to yam and yam and yam. The culture is eat up food, that is the attitude. The motto is greed.
Oh yeah, delight them body, 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 lam, pam, pam, body. Do, 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 do. Oh, 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 oh. Delight.
All right, good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago. I know a lot of you have been wondering, well, what is going on? Why you're not seeing me? Why you're not hearing me? Well, because I was getting an interview lined up for all of you. All right, it's a pastor friend of mine, very good pastor, sister in the lad, who is in Grenada. And we heard about what happened, the storm that would have passed Trinidad and Tobago and went to Grenada. Well, parts of it passed through Grenada. I don't think the whole storm would have affected Grenada. But I have her on live on how you put it, on WhatsApp video call. All right, I have her live on WhatsApp video call, and I'm going to put her on for her to tell you all what it is, tell us what went on. So let her introduce herself. Pastor Mitchell is going to introduce herself, and she'll tell you what part of Grenada she's from, and give us an idea of what went on in Grenada. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago.
How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you, Pastor.
Long time no see.
It's pretty long time.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, it's pretty hot here today. I mean, the weather's a little overcast, but it's really kind of hot. You know?
Okay. Beautiful. So tell us, you all, what happened in the midst of all of this that took place?
Well, in the midst of all of this, so we had we were put on storm watch.
Right.
I believe. But God really does move mountains, and He moves clouds as well.
Right.
So, in the midst of all that, we basically just experienced heavy rain in some parts of Grenada. I'm from St. Andrews,
right.
The big parish.
Okay.
So on my side, it was pretty much rainy at some point on Tuesday. Am I correct? It was Tuesday, right?
Mm-hmm.
So on Tuesday, it was pretty much rainy. The weather was, not as beautiful as it is today.
Okay.
We had high wind at some point. It was more to the evening, coming out to nightfall, that we started experiencing some thunder, lightning.
Right.
I did not necessarily hear about any flooding. On Tuesday, I believe on yesterday, though, we had a lot of rain at some point in St. George's. I believe some parts of Grand Anse was flooded. Even St. Andrews, we had a lot of rain up here as well. That was for yesterday. It was almost like the storm passed yesterday on our side.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was pretty much like that. We had a little blackout for a little while on the night of the storm, not too long.
Okay.
We had a little power outage.
Yes.
That was about it. I guess maybe some parts of the other parishes may have had a little flooding, fallen trees, but there really wasn't anything, drastic or that we couldn't handle. And we really do give God thanks and praise for that, because it could have been worse. We've seen over on your side that there was a lot of flooding. So we are thankful to God that y'all are safe and that it was not as serious as in Grenada here.
Right. I know that you all had elections just recently. When was it? When did you all have elections?
It was a week. Today makes it a week. So it was last Thursday.
Last Thursday.
Yes.
Right. You all had
last Thursday. We now have a new party in power. So we're going through the transition
of that.
Stage.
Beautiful. And it's a young man. He's 44 years old.
Pretty young. He doesn't even look like 40. He doesn't even look like that. He looks like a teenager, but the looks can be deceiving. And so we're continuing to trust God that, he's now in the position where he can make a difference. And we hope that he will not just look to men, but he would look to God in this time to bring the country into a better place.
And saying that, on the heels of you saying that, I want you to tell me what happened in Grenada. You were sharing with me off air, but I want you to tell Trinidad and Tobago what took place in Grenada after he won the elections.
So after he would have won the election on Thursday evening, it was a holiday on Friday.
Right.
And we had a National Day of Prayer on Saturday and Sunday.
Right.
Of that same week. And I'm really, proud as to how he would have started off, putting God first. I believe God is glorified in it, whether it's for a show, whether it's for real. People would have all different things to say, but at the end of the day, I'm really happy that this is the platform, this is the foundation that is being set, and not just for the government or for the person in power now, but in anything that you're about to start, anything that you're about to build, God must be the foundation. And that's just the way that, we have to look at things.
Right. So he would have held a National Day of Prayer on 2 days, the Saturday and the Sunday.
Right.
Now, in my mind, I'm not going to say that.
Sorry.
So he
didn't leave anybody out.
That is it. And that was commendable. That is commendable because he knows that on the island it have two major religions and two major spiritual groups, which is the Adventists and the full gospel. So he would have catered for the two, and that was good. That was good. And even as you said, even if it's for a show, that shows that even if it's for a show, he understands the dynamics of the two.
That's it. That comes with that. That's it.
Yeah.
So we're really just looking forward, and going forward, we're looking forward to the rain season. And I know that, it's already said it's going to be pretty active, and we really hope that, God will continue to have his hand upon Grenada, Carriacou, Petit Martinique, Trinidad, Tobago, and the entire region.
Yes.
Going forward, nobody experiences any major disaster.
Right. So it didn't have any major disasters. It didn't have any major disasters in Grenada. Nobody homes like roofs were blown off or nothing like that.
I did hear about some flooding, some downstairs in some parts again, that did experience some flooding on this last storm here. So again, we just have to continue to trust God because we don't know, what will happen at any point. NADMA doesn't always have it right. Anything can change in the twinkle of an eye. We can lose stuff. And all these, I once remember preaching a message, Why Storm Calm? And it's so important that even though it might be a natural thing now, that we still have to remember the spiritual aspect of the storm that we may face, even in our lives, because a storm might come, you might flood you downstairs, you'll be upset, you're mad, you act up. But it can also be an open door where God can bless you, where new things can come,
Yes.
Somebody can, all the stuff that you may have had that you thought was wrong gold, you might have cherished it, but bam, God opened a door, somebody come, they bless you, you make new ways, and so we always have to remember, even as we go through this natural rain season, storm season, hurricane season, to not just look at the natural aspect of it, but also look at the spiritual aspect of it. God brings storms in our lives for different reasons. So even today, yes, we're talking about the weather, but you might be experiencing some storms in your life. Be mindful that God may just be opening a new way, clearing some trees down, opening a new path, creating some, doing something that you've never seen, because there might have been so many trees up that you didn't see the vision. Sometimes God will cause storms to come for many different reasons. And we just have to continue to trust God and hold on to the hand of God.
All right. Thank you very much for being with me. I know this was short. I know this was short notice, but you're always prepared.
That's okay. That's fine. It's always nice to touch base. I really miss that. I really miss you guys.
So you're not coming down for next week? You coming down for next week?
Fortunately, not. Maybe hopefully next year. The plan is next year.
All right. Okay.
So we're working on that.
All right then. Well, I'll see you soon.
So thank you.
You're most
welcome.
Thank
you so much. Lord bless you.
Thank you. All right. God bless. Bye.
There's no better way in this world for peace and total rest. Tried and tested, Christ's way is the best. No philosophy, no creed could ever supersede what the Holy Bible, wonderful oracle, showing the people. Oh yeah, and two shall be in the field, one shall be taken. Oh yeah, two shall be at the wheel, only one will fly. Every stone shall be upturned and false doctrine shaken, while God's truth and his people are lifted high. Yeah. The Father never needed religion or systems of it. His word stands on its own and proves its worth. Yesterday, today, forever. God's promises changes never. And true government is when God leads the leader. Lead them on, yeah. True government is when God leads my leader.
All right, so I'm back with you, Trinidad and Tobago. I want to thank my friend from Grenada for coming on and sharing with you what is going on in Grenada, what went on in Grenada. Because, there are some people out there, who are saying that this whole storm, this whole storm thing was a joke. It wasn't real. It was just for ratings. It was a distraction. It was to take people off of the failures of the government and to try to pay off the international media and the this and the that and that, all that nonsense you hear. And Grenada, I did it to allow people to hear that people in Grenada was facing a storm. So I just had to do that because sometimes you have to clear up the misconceptions and the fake news that is out there, boy. Oh man, sometimes you just really wonder, like some people that have nothing to do. You know what I mean? Nothing to do. So I want you to share the live. Today I promised you that I would deal with the airport and the airport bacchanal that's going on and all that's happening in Trinidad and Tobago. That is the talk of the tongue. Right now you're hearing the talk of the tongue and what's going on. So I said today I would draw your memory, take you back to what would have happened back then, to what's happening now, and where we going from here. Where we going from here? Trinidad and Tobago, where we going from here? What are we allowing to take? How are we going? Where we going? And that's what we want to talk about today. Where are we going from here? You know? So if you haven't yet joined me on the live, I think there's a good time for you to do so, to join me on the live, the Street 919 FM Facebook page. Also, you can join me on YouTube. I'm also on YouTube, so you could also join me on YouTube, Iwer TV, right?
Matter to bury, for marriage, and to baptize. Hey man, check the first two presidents of the United States of America. They were Orthodox, practicing Christians, because the mysteries of God's plan are nonsense to carnal man. The master say walk by faith, never to extrapolate, cause he's too great. I know he's too great, and I say two shall be in the field, one shall be chosen. Yeah, yeah, two shall be at the wheel, only one will fly. Man, every stone shall be upturned and false government shaken to the root, while God's truth and his people are lifted high, so high. The Father never needed religion or systems of us. No, his word stands on its own and proves its worth. Yesterday, today, forever. God's statutes changes never. Oh man, true government is when God leading the leader, instructing the leader. We want a government that's tried and true to represent me and you from the Christian crew. Without a word from God, what we gonna do? We want a man from the chosen few. Oh, 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 oh. Somebody love somebody. This when God leads the leader. It was always true messengers of God's salvation who ruled over the earth's political fate. Oh yeah, but now thanks to the emergence of secular humanism, they separating the church from the state. Ask King David, Joshua, Samuel, Solomon, all these great folks. The new government without God is guesswork. Without prophetic word.
All right, so it all started with this guy here. The Prime Minister, Mr. Basil Pandey, the UNC, when they were embarked on building a brand new airport, spanking new airport for Trinidad and Tobago. That time I was a little boy, young man growing up, and I would have heard about the airport from Dr. the Honorable Keith Christopher Rowley, yes. When the PNM was on the hustings, the political hustings, I remember one day my mother took me to a political meeting at Skiffle Bunch Panyard. When Dr. Rowley, they would call him the Rottweiler, would have taken the platform, and it is so edged in my mind how he would have read out the cost of one door in that airport. And I remember Mr. Manning, Dr. Rowley, and they educating the population. And that time, as I said to you, I was a young man living in San Fernando, still living in San Fernando. I ain't going nowhere. Right? Yeah, young man living in San Fernando and going to hear Dr. Rowley do a presentation on what was happening with that airport scandal. But I said all of that to say this. I would have shown you this clip already, but I want to start off the whole discussion with this video of Mr. Basdio Pandey. I'm giving you a piece of the video of Mr. Basdio Pandey opening. Yes, he was opening the airport, Piaco International Airport. Look at the faces, listen, look as we start the conversation on how we reach here with this airport bacchanal. Look at this Trinidad and Tobago. Mr. Basdio Pandey. Right? Take him in.
Because it was the right thing to do for this country. I backed the decision to proceed with this project because it was and is so obviously in the national interest. I supported the decision to proceed with the construction of this airport because it is so obviously it suits our nation's purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, at the start of my remarks, I made reference to the unending old talk that this airport has been generating for such a long time. One even had the impression that this airport is to be given sole credit for the establishment of the local branch of Transparency International. After all the talk from people who are yet to see the inside of this facility, it is time to let this design masterpiece speak for itself. My purpose today is to receive the Millennium Airport from the contractors. And let me take this opportunity to congratulate the contractors on a magnificent job. I am told that the cost per square foot of this airport is lower than any other airport in the world. I accept this facility on behalf of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. At the same time, I hand over this Millennium Airport to the citizens of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, in whose name and on whose behalf this facility was constructed. Let history record that on this 25th day of November, in the year of our Lord 2000, the spirit of our nation soared to new heights on behalf of and in the interest of the citizens of our republic. As Prime Minister, I vested the operations of the Millennium Airport in the Airports Authority of Trinidad and Tobago. This I now do. Ladies and gentlemen.
So you see in the airport, pictures of the airport in its finish and in its starting stage and its finished stage. And Mr. Basdio Pandey would have opened that airport, the old silver fox, as some people will call him. But while going through the stages of this case, for me as a young man, I recognized certain things, but you saw familiar faces. You saw Isha and Steve. You saw where they were a part of the opening of the airport, right? They were right there. I saw a familiar face, Mr. Sadiq Bosch. He was the Minister of Works and Transport back then. The whole airport situation and what went on in the airport. So, I said to myself, okay, I'm doing my research and I'm pulling together my clips. And we all know what happened. If you can remember, I will remind you as much as I can. So there were, as I said before, questions about the airport. Questions about, why things were done a certain way, the contractors. Questions upon questions upon questions about the airport. And Mr. Pandey would have lost the elections and Dr. Rowley would have, Mr. Manny would have come in, and we would have had the airport investigations.
They were Orthodox, practicing Christians, because in the streets of Boston.
You remember this song? This song by Mr. Sugar Aloes. Listen to it a little bit.
I get a phone call from Panda recently, telling me how the UNC in jeopardy. He say, I lost my boy, I want a remedy quick, because my minister of finance, he take him sick. I don't know what went wrong, but like he get this squeeze. The other day in Parliament, he began to sneeze, and the only time he gets the allergy is whenever in Bhutan Valley questioning he who own Royal Castle Fried Chicken. The travel agency Aladdin, who got the job in the savannah. They say around Christmas, don't buy beef, don't buy goat, don't buy sheep, because vampire bat biting these animals, and it have a thing they call rabies. So, excuse me, sorry. Pour them. Right? Yes. The chorus is yes. You gotta get a sneeze with that one. Yes. I dream I get a phone call from Panda recently, telling me that the UNC in jeopardy. He say, I lost my boy, I want a remedy quick, because my minister of finance, he take him sick. I don't know what went wrong, but like he get the squeeze. The other day in Parliament, he began to sneeze, and the only time he gets the allergy is whenever in Bhutan Valley questioning he who own Royal Castle Fried Chicken. Yes. The travel agency Aladdin, yes. Who had the job in the savannah, yes. Who is northern contractor. Yes. He say, I lost by the thing is so frustrating. I don't believe he squeal, Mr. Quite tongue squealing. But somehow I feel he trying to tell the nation the whole of the UNC involved in corruption. Yes. 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 He say hello.
Ishgal Baran Singh and Steve Ferguson were not in court on Wednesday when their attorney Fahad Hussain applied for bail. The two businessmen were arrested on Tuesday and taken to the maximum security prison in Golden Grove. But sitting in the San Fernando High Court, Justice Vasish Kokaran denied the bail application. The judge said the state, represented by attorney Calvin Ramkisoon and Michael Kwamina, agreed that the court could exercise its discretion to grant bail in the matter, but he wanted to adopt a cautious approach. He said the court had to hold the scale of justice evenly between the claimants and the state. Justice Kokaram said he took into consideration, among other things, the seriousness of the offense, the severity of the penalty for such an offense, and the public interest in the matter. State Attorney Ramkisoon argued that because of the advanced stage of the proceedings, the businessman might become a flight risk. But their attorney Fahad Hussain argued that his clients were entitled to bail, were not a flight risk, and had complied to the conditions of the previous bail. While denying bail, Justice Kokaram granted Hussain's request for a conservatory order preventing the man's extradition to the United States pending the outcome of the motion. The judge said the matter would be dealt with swiftly. The motion hearing was initially set for July 22nd, but he brought it up to next Thursday, June 24th. Justice Kokaram said it would be wrong to extradite the man while the constitutional motion was still pending. In the motion, they are contending that the proceedings are unjust and oppressive and infringes on their constitutional rights. Hussain, who was instructed by attorney Nairi Alfonso also questioned who authorized the detention of his clients. He said the decision rests solely with the Attorney General and not with the Director of Public Prosecutions. Today's court ruling means that Galbransing and Ferguson would have to remain behind bars at the maximum security prison until the determination of their motion, which is fixed for hearing at the Port of Spain High Court on June 24th. The attorney Fayed Hossain says he will appeal the judge's refusal to grant bail. The businessmen are facing 95 charges related to the construction of the Biarco International Airport Terminal building.
I'm going for a break and come back. When I come back from the break, we're going to continue right here on the Street 919 FM. Don't come off the live. Thanks very much for all of you joining me on the live today.
Every Friday, it's all about Fire Mood Soca Fridays with MC Duke and Selector Kochi from 6 straight to 9 p.m. blazing all the latest and past soca hits. So remember, make it a line, make it a day, rock and come in, you know. It's all about Fire Mood Soca Fridays on the Street 919 FM. Don't know.
If you're experiencing pain, constipation, headaches, poor blood circulation, high or low blood pressure, diabetes, cancer, swollen or darkened feet, come visit us at Health and Wealth Lifestyle, located at 73 Eastern Main Road, Barataria, opposite Eastern Credit Union. We at Health and Wealth Lifestyle offer a wide range of services. Come and experience our new 3D analyzer, which allows you to have a look inside your body. We also provide live blood analysis, iridology, ionic foot detox with foot soak and foot massage, aquatherapy, full body massage, and organic supplements on sale such as Nano Silver, Nano Zinc, Body Light, cold pressed sesame oil, and more. Health and Wealth Lifestyle, located at number 73 Eastern Main Road, Barataria, opposite Eastern Credit Union. For more information, call 275-8359 or 288-1108.
Join Nicole Huggins for Health and Wealth Lifestyle every Monday from 9:05 a.m. to 9:55 a.m. right here on the Street 919 FM.
This is Wayne Delamore, Head Consultant and Director of Natural Health Solution. With over 15 years of experience in clinical nutrition and microscopy, we specialize in early detection and prevention. We incorporate evidence-based nutrition and science-driven analysis. Tune in to our educational program every Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. right here on the Street 91.9 FM. For appointments, call 222-2189 or 304-5816. At Natural Health Solutions, we offer a natural solution to healthy living.
Good about I'm looking like it real bad.
Are you ready for that boat experience again? The Sea Champion and the Embassy say, book with us for that unforgettable boat ride experience. Sea Champion leaving from King's Wharf, San Fernando, and the Embassy leaving from Breakfast Shed, Port of Spain, or Westside Trinidad. For more information, call 399-5959 to 814723 or email us at coralvisiontT@gmail.com. Book now and reserve your cruise.
Hey, that boat, I look like it does well.
This is Bishop Aaron Williams from the Divine Problem Solving International Ministries, inviting you to be part of our broadcast on any given Thursday night from 12 midnight right on to 5 a.m. on Friday morning. And this broadcast is called Early Morning Gospel Market Program. Then we have on Tuesday from 12 noon to 1 p.m. the Holy Ghost Gospel Pharmacy. If you are sick and ailing, you can get from this particular pharmacy, from the pharmacist, the good things of life. Hallelujah. And any Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, break into the host of the Philistines. Hallelujah. If you are sick and tired of being sick and tired, hearing the babel of false doctrines that you encounter daily, it's about time you get close to God. God's word direct from his throne room in the name of Jesus.
God has good plans for his people. Why do you worry so much?
Turn your lights down low and listen to the Master's radio. Get in touch with God. Turn your radio on.
You are invited to join Pastors Morris and Agnes Johnson of the Church of the Firstborn Assembly Miracle Center, located at number 399 Eastern Main Road, Guayco in Sangre Grande, for the Old Time Gospel Hour Family Radio Ministry every Sunday from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Check out the Children's Hour Worship Ministry of the Word and the Family Forum every Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. The Law and You every Friday evening from 9 a.m. to 5 a.m. All night prayer live on the Street 919 FM, designed with you in mind. This program deals with today's issues from a biblical perspective. You will also be given the opportunity to call in and interact with us. Micah 6:8 says, He had showeth thee, O main, and what doeth the Lord require of thee, but to do justly and to love mercy and to walk humbly with thy God. Your financial support through the First Citizens Bank will be greatly appreciated. Account number 795222. In the name of the Church of the Firstborn Assembly. For further information, call 753-1133 or email us at church668hope@gmail.com.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
The chorus is, yes, gotta get his sneeze with that one. Yes. I dream I get a phone call from Panda recently, telling me that the UNC in jeopardy. He say, I lost my boy, I want a remedy quick, because my minister of finance, he taking sick. I don't know what went wrong, but like he get the squeeze. The other day in Parliament, he began to sneeze, and the only time he gets the allergy is whenever in Button Valley questioning he who own Royal Castle Fried Chicken.
Court of Appeal judges Wendell Kangaloo, Alan Mendonca, and Paula May Weeks will rule on Friday on whether businessmen Iwer Galbaransing and Steve Ferguson will be extradited to the United States to answer fraud charges arising out of the Piarco Airport project. The two businessmen, who are known financiers of the UNC, are challenging the constitutionality of the Extradition Act, as well as a High Court judge's refusal to grant leave to have it reviewed. In early October, Attorney General Anand Ramlogan signed the extradition warrants for the two to be extradited to the United States to face criminal prosecution in relation to the Piarco Airport expansion project. But within hours, the two were challenging the AG's decision. Galbaransing and Ferguson are charged with bid rigging, wire fraud, conspiracy to engage in money laundering in the construction of the $1.6 billion airport terminal building. Ferguson is wanted on an 82-count indictment, while Galbaransing is wanted on a 13-count indictment. The Court of Appeal judges are ruling on a constitutional point before them regarding the constitutionality of the Extradition Act of 1985. They are also expected to determine if the decision by the Attorney General Anand Ramlogan to order their extradition should in fact be examined by a High Court judge. For CNC3, I'm Melissa Williams.
And with that, the man going back sneezing again. 600 acres in Matura, and 52 million for Winshaw. Who owned the Maritime Casino? Who had the contract for Piarco? I see quite tongue make a drift like he want to fall. Still in Button Valley, one is the pressure at all. He block his nose with a kerchief, but to no avail. I swear the whole of the UNC going in jail. Yes. Yes. All you get. Yes. Yes. In the dream I say, Mr. Pandey, listen, sir. Why don't you take Mr. Quaiton to a bush doctor? Don't mind his medicine's outdated and very old. I'm sure that he could give him something good for the cold. Or you could try Zeba Peak and Jose Maui. Chandelier Christmas bush or shadow bed.
Seeing some of those comments, I think they are not justified. They're unjustified comments. The situations are very different and they're very similar. The process is the same.
Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar making it clear that while both cases involved extradition to the United States, they have their differences. Highlighting the similarities first, this is what the Prime Minister said.
In both cases, the extradition request was signed by the Attorney General, and then the matter went to court. Thus far, this is proceeding along the same position.
However, she went on to outline some of the differences in both cases, which makes a full comparison not applicable.
That in that matter, the government, the state attorneys had objected to bail, and those persons spent, I don't know, months. They spent months in jail before the matters were finally determined in the courts. In this case, the government did not object to bail, and indeed bail was granted.
Mrs. Persad-Bissessar went on to explain another major difference, which is the fact that the matter involving Galbaransing and Ferguson had local proceedings before the court.
There were local proceedings here in our courts in Trinidad, the criminal courts of Trinidad and Tobago. When they did the application before the court, the High Court, they applied for leave to apply for judicial review, and the High Court judge refused the leave for judicial review, and it went to the Court of Appeal, and the Court of Appeal overturned the High Court judge and said, yes, you are granted leave to pursue an application for judicial review. That went before the courts, and
The Prime Minister was speaking with the media on Thursday at the opening of the new Maloney Police Station. Rishi Harinanan, C News.
Because my Minister of Finance, he taking sick. I don't know what went wrong, but like he get the squeeze the other day in Parliament, he began to sneeze. And the only time he gets the allergy is whenever in Bhutan Valley questioning he who own Royal Castle Fried Chicken. The travel agency Aladdin, who had the job in the savannah, who is Northern Contractor. He say I lost, but the thing is so frustrating. I don't believe he squeal, Mr. Quite tongue squealing, but somehow I feel he trying to tell the...
MP Herbert Volney has openly shared his side of the story with the public, saying that he tendered his resignation before the public announcement that he had been fired. But on social media site Facebook this morning, a further statement was posted in the name of MP Herbert Volney. It reads, I want to thank the hundreds of people from all walks of life for your support for me and my family. We are people of faith, and we are covered by the blood of Jesus Christ. We need now to pray to God for strength for our Prime Minister, who is now overcome by Anand Ramlogan, that she may purge herself of the influence of one who is unelected by the people, but influences her in a way that we the people must fear. Later in the evening, yet another update was posted. It reads, to the hundreds of people who have lent their support to my family and me, the truth has been told. Please lend our Prime Minister your heart so that she will have the strength and vision to see what is wrong and deal with it. Pray for her. I am already covered and spared by my dismissal. When CNC3 contacted Mr. Volney today for confirmation that he had personally updated his profile, he refused to comment. We also placed a call to Attorney General Anand Ramlogan, who said that he was unavailable to comment because he was busy with a personal matter. For CNC3 News,
whole of the UNC going in jail. Yes. Yes. All you get. Yes. In the dream I say, Mr. Pandey, listen, sir. Why don't you take Mr. Quaitong to a bush doctor? Domain his medicines outdated and very old. I'm sure that he could give him something good for the cold. Or you could try Zeba Peak and Jose Maui. Chandelier Christmas bush or Shadow Benny. Pandey say I lose this thing in no accident. I feel this man in throw black pepper in Parliament to build the fair report in Toko. Yes. Who was the last chairman at Titco? About it.
So you all, I hope that you all are looking. I hope that you all are listening. I hope you all are taking notes. I hope you all are taking proper notes so that when I come back in, you all are going to be talking to me based on the clips that I showed you all so far. Right? So I showed you all a clip. Let me just give you all a quick rundown of the clips that I showed so far. Right? So the first clip I showed you all was with Mr. Basdio Pandey opening the airport, making sarcastic remarks about the airport opening and stuff like that. Then I played you clips on Mr. Ish and Steve appearing in court, what is being said by the judges, and all of that. And we reached down to why they don't want to extradite them, why they can't fight the case in Trinidad and not have to go to America, and you heard all of that. And then we heard now about Section 34. You heard what Mr. Volney had to say? Huh? All of this controversy going on. I want you to hear this. I want you to hear this. So join me on the live. Join me on the live. I'm taking you back. Because some of you just forget. Real bad. So it's my duty to find all these things and show you.
Is then I tell the speaker quiet tongue is not sneezing. What he's trying to say is Ishwagal Baransi. Yes.
It was an admission that caught many by surprise. Former Justice Minister Herbert Volney, during a news conference held at the office of the Attorney General earlier today, admitted that he was responsible for the controversial proclamation of Section 34. Mr. Volney...
What? Wait. He was responsible for Section 34? But earlier, didn't I just play you all a clip? Where Mr. Volney say, what did Mr. Volney say in the clip I just played you all? Listen to it again. I had to play it again because you see some of you all...
Justice was revoked 2 days ago. MP Herbert Volney has openly shared his side of the story with...
Wait, listen. I want you all to hear because some of you all say that you didn't hear. Some of you all say that I make up these things. Some of you all might want to tell them to sue me. Or some of you all might want to write that. But I ain't saying it. Hear who's saying it.
Justice was revoked 2 days ago. MP Herbert Volney has openly shared his side of the story with the public, saying that he tendered his resignation before the public announcement that he had been fired. But on social media site Facebook this morning, a further statement was posted in the name of MP Herbert Volney. It reads, I want to thank the hundreds of people from all walks of life for your support for me and my family. We are people of faith and we are covered by the blood of Jesus Christ. We need now to pray to God for strength for our Prime Minister, who is now overcome by Anand Ramlogan, that she may purge herself of the influence of one who is unelected by the people, but influences her in a way that we the people must fear. Later in the evening, yet another update was posted. It reads, to the hundreds of people who have lent their support to my family and me, the truth has been told. Please lend our Prime Minister your heart so that she will have the strength and vision to see what is wrong and deal with it. Pray for her. I am already covered and spared by my dismissal. When CNC3 contacted Mr. Volney today for confirmation that he had personally updated his profile, he refused to comment. We also placed a call to Attorney General Anand Ramlogan, who said that he was unavailable to comment because he was busy with a personal matter. For CNC3 News...
So, you just heard it. You just heard that, right? But wait, just now, will you wait now? We're going back here now. Let's listen to this, right? Join me on the live, you know. You all are the jury, so you tell me.
It was an admission that caught many by surprise. Former Justice Minister Herbert Volney, during a news conference held at the office of the Attorney General earlier today, admitted that he was responsible for the controversial proclamation of Section 34. Mr. Volney, a former St. Joseph MP, apologized to Attorney General Alan Logan for the defamatory statements he'd made against him. CNews' Shirley Lewis attended the news conference and brought back this report.
That I take full responsibility for Section 34. I was the line minister at the Ministry of Justice, and having come from a background in the criminal justice system as a judge and as a former prosecutor, I was the one who not only helped to calibrate Section 34 and to bring it about, but also to have it amended in the Senate.
2 years after the controversial proclamation of Section 34 of the Administration of Justice Indictable Proceedings Act 2012, an apology has come from the former Justice Minister, Herbert Volney. Weeks after its proclamation on August 31st, 2012, Section 34 was repealed by the government after public concern was raised that businessmen Iwer Galbaransing and Steve Ferguson stood to benefit. The two men had been facing corruption charges relating to the construction of the Piarco International Airport amounting to hundreds of billions of dollars. It was felt the proclamation of Section 34 would have paved the way for the charges to be dropped on the basis that the matter was over 10 years old. However, Mr. Volney, a retired judge, said today he accepts full responsibility for the proclamation of Section 34. He added that his accusations against Adrian Logan was reckless, but he was hurting because of the manner in which he was fired as a government minister.
The Attorney General had nothing, I repeat, nothing to do with Section 34, other than as a parliamentary colleague to assist me on the floor during the committee stage of the Senate in particular.
Adrian Logan said he was pleased that they were able to settle the matter and that Mr. Volney can publicly retract the defamatory statements made against him. At the time, Mr. Volney had said he was being made the fall guy and claimed his dismissal was being engineered by Mr. Logan in order to take the heat off the public call for the AG to be fired.
Mr. Volney contacted the lawyers who are representing my good self, and they were able to arrive at a consensual position whereby Mr. Volney would apologize, withdraw those defamatory remarks, and also pay an undisclosed sum to a charity of my choice. And he also agrees to give an undertaking that no such further defamatory remarks will be made against my office as Attorney General or myself personally.
Mr. Volney, who was sacked in September 2012 as Minister of Justice, said the Prime Minister was justified in her actions to fire him from a cabinet.
I should have undertaken more careful consideration of the proclamation, which I did not. And I failed the cabinet in that regard. And I can well understand why the Prime Minister acted as she did.
The Attorney General had filed a lawsuit against Mr. Volney last year, claiming defamation of character. Charlene Lewis, Senior.
Joining us from South Key in downtown.
I dream I get a phone call from Pande recently, telling me that the UNC in jeopardy. He say, I lost my boy, I want a remedy quick, because my Minister of Finance, he taking sick. I don't know what went wrong, but like he get the squeeze the other day.
Well, these people asking, you all to vote for them again, you know. These people asking all to support them, you know. Somebody said, talk about falling on your own sword. Boy, I don't know. Something wrong with us, you know. These people asking for us to support them again, you know. So you all see where it starts with Mr. Pandey coming down the road, you know. So wait, look at this. I only think I do research and joke.
just hours after the Senate followed the lower house in passing legislation to repeal the controversial Section 34 of the Administration of Justice and Indictable Offences Act, President George Maxwell Richards signed the official document to make it law. The confirmation came from Attorney General Anand Ramlogan in a telephone interview with CNC3, telling us that in this case no proclamation was necessary. He confirmed that the state wasted no time in having the legislation sent to the President following last night's passage for his signature this morning. But the matter, however, was before the Magistrates Court again this morning. Businessmen Iwer Galbaransing and Steve Ferguson now being told they must wait until October 2nd to have their submissions heard. The two men appeared in the Port of Spain Magistrates Second Court before Magistrate Ijeni Espinay, and their attorneys led by Queen's Counsel Andrew Mitchell told the court they will be making a submission on the basis of Clause 34. He was not commenting on the decision of the Parliament as he left the court.
Afraid no comment, cannot discuss pending proceedings.
The state, led by Director of Public Prosecutions Roger Gaspard, indicated to the court that they would need time to present their case. DPP Gaspard also not speaking about Parliament's decision.
I don't want to comment on that at this stage. No, nothing.
Galbaransing too was not commenting when asked by CNC3 what he thought about the developments in the Parliament. Magistrate Espinay said the next hearing for October 2nd, when oral submissions will be made, giving the two sides time to present written submissions in the interim.
In the dream I say, Mr. Pandey, listen, sir. Why don't you take Mr. Quaitong to a bush doctor? Domain his medicines outdated and very old. I'm sure that he could give him something good for the cold. Or you could try Zeba Peak and Jose Maui, Chandelier Christmas Bush or Shadow Benny. Pandey say I lost this thing in no accident. I feel this man in throw black pepper in Parliament to build the ferry.
Join me on the live, share the live, for taking you back history here in Trinidad and Tobago. Remember this? How many of you remember this?
Thank you very much, Chief Secretary London.
Somebody must go.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say to you again how pleased I am of my people of Trinidad and Tobago. When this matter came to the public attention and we sought to respond, among the things I did as opposition leader, acting on your behalf, in the face of this shame and this stain on our country, where those who have enough money and enough influence could get a prime minister and a cabinet to come to the Parliament and under the guise of passing a particular law, insert certain things, give certain assurance to the Parliament to get the support of opposition members and independent senators. And having got that support, you are giving an assurance that you will not do certain things and that you must do certain things. And you come out of the Parliament, and in the dead of night, in the middle of our 50th anniversary of independence, good God, a few days before the 100th anniversary ends of Eric Williams' birth, so I immediately, understanding that this is a communication age, in a matter of seconds, around the world, from Australia to Timbuktu, from New Zealand to Scotland, the people know that in Trinidad and Tobago, there exists a government that betrayed the Parliament, that used the cabinet to allow alleged criminals, innocent or guilty, to not have a day in court. Oh, what a country. So I wrote to all the interested parties where Trinidad and Tobago's interest is affected. I wrote to the government government of the United States, our major trading partner and our major partner in defense of this country. I wrote to the United Kingdom, another partner in defense of this country. I wrote to the government of Canada, another partner. I wrote to the government of France, who by having French territories in the region is a partner in our security. I wrote to the government of the Kingdom of Holland, that has territories in this region and whose warships secure our state. And I wrote to the United Nations, where our proud legacy is in danger. I wrote to the OAS, of we are an early member. I wrote to the ACS, and I wrote to the CARICOM, where we are brothers and sisters alike, to tell them one thing and one thing only, and that is that the office holders, the Prime Minister, the cabal, the cabinet, they speak only for themselves in this criminal matter. And that my letters separate the people of Trinidad and Tobago from this criminal act of the government of Trinidad and Tobago. I write them to let them know that even though the government has done that to the people will have none of it, and today you have shown that by your thousands. It was Winston Churchill who said in Britain's darkest day in World War II, this is not the beginning of the end. It is the end of the beginning of our action, but it is the beginning of the end of the Kamla Prasad regime. When former President Robinson spoke about morality and absence of moral and spiritual values, some persons were highly offended. But power being exercised without moral and spiritual values is tyranny. And you've seen it here. That is why, after an emergency session in Parliament, in the lower house and in the upper house, and the debate was concluded in both houses, not a member of the cabinet, even today, could say, why did you do that? It is not that they don't know the answer. It is not that they don't have the answer, but the answer is too horrible to tell you. And your presence here today, in 48 hours, there were thousands of persons saying to this government, we will have none of it. We will have none of it. On this platform today are persons of different political views, maybe of different religious persuasions. But I tell you one thing that binds us together, especially in this hour of crisis, we are standing up for Trinidad and Tobago. And if Trinidad and Tobago ever needed us, all of us, it is now. There is more that binds me to Brother Abdullah and to Brother Negu than separate me. Because the red, white, and black bind us together. That is what we defend. A very curious thing happened today. I pointed out to the country that we had an emergency session of Parliament in the face of this outrage. And the head of the government, the head of the cabinet that authorized it, came to the Parliament in that debate and didn't have a word to say. All she did was to try to get Annie Roberts to speak for her. And to get Jack Warner to speak for her. But Annie Roberts, God help us, is not the Prime Minister. Nor is Annie Logan. Nor is Jack Warner. The Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, we know her name. She has authority. I want to ask you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, if a crisis like this had arisen in New Zealand, in India, in Australia, in Canada, you think the Prime Minister could have gone to the Parliament and have not a word to say? Have you ever seen the British Prime Minister at question time at Westminster? And then we are governed by a coalition party. So the leader of the coalition has nothing to say. And the second-tier leader of the COP, he too had nothing to say. But while they have nothing to say, their minions and their spin doctors are calling for my resignation, I want to tell them something. The record will show in this country that I am not about office. I can walk away from office if I have to. But when my country needs me and I have nothing to apologize for, I will be here. And let me say something to all those who think that I am the problem. You know, the problem is not a cabinet that deceived the parliament. The problem is not a prime minister who used the cabinet to cause persons not to appear in court. The problem is not an attorney general whose record is as long and as grey as you could think. The problem is that the opposition voted for it, and therefore we are to blame equally. Let's start with this. We voted for it on one ground and one ground only, that the assurances given to Parliament would be met. And if you have to apologize for one thing, we'll do it now. Apologize for taking them at the lying word in the Parliament. Could you imagine an editorial in The Guardian is saying that I should be chastised because I should have known I shouldn't trust the government? What the hell is this? The editorial in The Guardian is saying that the opposition leader should know that the government is not trustworthy and don't trust them. Well, I agree that they're not trustworthy, but having now accepted in trying to defend themselves from this fiasco, having accepted that they cannot be trusted, they must get out of office at the earliest opportunity. They must get out of office. So the leader of the COP sat there and had nothing to say. We pointed out that notwithstanding what the Parliament does, when we found out what they did, we came to the Parliament to try to fix it. One of the things we said from early is that notwithstanding whatever option the Parliament uses, it will be challenged in the court, because you gave them that right, and to attempt to take it away, they can now go and argue in the court that the Parliament is acting improperly. The Attorney General went out of his way to put words on Hansard that can be used by defense lawyers to say, you see what the government did? They are acting against the interests of particular citizens, and that isn't allowable. And then, you know, press conference this morning, and Prakash Amada is apologizing. Hear what he's apologizing for? Hear what he's apologizing for? For clause 34. Because to add insult to the injury, it is not only that the government betrayed Parliament's trust. Now that they were caught and they are exposed to the people of Trinidad and Tobago, their way out is to say, blame all of we in the Parliament, we can live with that. We can take that. Well, I am not taking that. It was not what was passed in the Parliament. Whatever you think of the content of clause 34, that was not the problem. The problem we are facing is the Cabinet proclaiming clause 34 early so that the friends could benefit. And let me explain to you why. When we sought the undertaking that nothing will be proclaimed under 3 or 4 years, it is because we understood that if there were matters of the nature which is concerning us now, in 3 or 4 years they would have been long gone. No matter in which these friends of the government involved, one has been completed and is awaiting indictment. The other one was nearing completion and was due to come up in the court in a matter of days. And that is why the government went secretly, surreptitiously, and damagingly in the dead of night, when you were looking at independence celebration, they proclaimed the amnesty clause. And the reason for that was to allow persons who were about to have their preliminary inquiry completed, and the DPP had already indicated publicly that once the two were finished, Because they were the same matter tied together, he will indict and try the two as one. And that matter of the action of the cabinet was to prevent them from continuing with the preliminary inquiry, and it has worked brilliantly. Because as soon as the government did what they did, as they were drinking their champagne, the lawyers were drafting documents, and then they went to court, and they said we can't continue with this preliminary inquiry because the government has let us go under clause 34. So from here on in, we are trying to undo what was done on the 31st of August. Before the 31st of August, this problem didn't exist. And that is why the U.S. government never complained when the law was passed. Every law passed in our parliament is scrutinized by every embassy in this country and reported back home. But there was no problem because the Attorney General gave the U.S. government and our people the assurance that the government would move to take all steps necessary to have a speedy trial of these persons. Nobody was expecting that while you were saying that on one mouth, out of the other mouth, you were talking to your friends and telling them you're almost free. Understand? And against all of this, I heard somebody writing some foolishness in the parliament, in the papers, and being repeated to you, the people, that it must have been some conspiracy between the PNM and the UNC to have PNM criminals go and UNC criminals go. Even if that nonsense had any basis, what then about the vote of the independents who voted all nine for the original bill? Are we to understand that the independence was involved in a conspiracy to level PNM people? Just give me a break. I might look stupid, but I'm not stupid.
All right, so if I continue to play this whole speech, you all will not get a chance to come in on the conversation. But I want to say this, Trinidad and Tobago, because, you know, we are the trolls on the live now. We have some trolls on the live. But I want to say this to them. I want to play something for them. So to the trolls on the live, right? I just want to play this for you. Because when you think about all that is happening and you listen to this statement by Ms. Bisessa, which I was advised last night that I need to play it regularly, it all comes together, you know.
The people to support you. So you want to be leader, and said you want to be whatever it is, prime minister. It don't work so. You have to support your party. You say you support country before party. Well, go to hell. Go to hell. Well, go to hell. Go to hell. Support you. So you want to be leader, and said you want to be whatever it is, prime minister. It don't work so. You have to support your party. You say you support country before party. Well, go to hell. Go to hell. Well, go to hell. Go to hell.
That's what the leader of the UNC, the new leader of the UNC, that's what she had to say.
In other news, Minister in the Office of the Attorney General, Senator Renuka Sagram Singh Suklal, sought to clear the air on the judgment handed down by the Privy Council on the state's case in the Piarco International Airport terminal matter. At a press conference on Wednesday afternoon, the minister revealed that upon learning of the Privy Council's decision on June 27, 2022, to overturn the decision made by the Court of Appeal, she immediately consulted with Attorney Kerwin Garcia to provide a preliminary opinion on the case.
My office, ladies and gentlemen, received the said opinion earlier today, and as a part, I respectfully believe, as a part of my obligation to the state and the wider citizenry to be transparent and accountable in all matters involving the state.
Quoting from the preliminary opinion, the minister noted that the changes of the accused can be addressed.
The first observation I make about the Judicial Committee ruling is that what it quashes is the Piarco 1 committal decision of 7 January 2008. It does not quash the charges themselves against the accused in that inquiry. A discharge or dismissal at the preliminary inquiry is not an acquittal.
Senator Sagram Singh Suklal said other opinions have been sought by the government's attorney in London and Miami as relates to the interpretation of the judgment.
Right. So, time for you all to come in. I think I give you all a lot to think about today. A lot. Right? So, I think it's time for me now to allow you to come in and tell me what are your thoughts. 342-0081, 342-0081, 771-1791, 771-1791, 466-5391, 466-5391. What is your thoughts about what you have heard so far? Now, I ain't seeing nobody on the phone line. What that means, nobody listening out. Or does that mean that you want to hear more of the speech that Dr. Rowley would have made? All right, I have a call on the line. Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon, Pastor Google.
Good afternoon.
Pastor Google, you know what is the most dangerous part of this whole thing?
What's that?
Daco Airport thing, which I think a lot of people not looking at. Do you remember, I think the president at the time was Ellis Clark?
Was it? No, it was with the Section 34?
Yes. Who was the president of the
it was what's his name? Oh gosh. The man name right on the tip of my mouth here. It was what's his name? Like the party and thing.
Yes, well this is why I asked if it wasn't Sir Ellis Clark.
No. It was oh gosh, and he used to party and play mass and thing.
Ellis Clark.
No.
Not, I was saying Ellis Clark again. He used to party and play mass. Max to the hill.
Yes, Mr. Richards.
Right.
Max Richards.
He did like to party and play mass and so on.
Yeah.
Now, you may not agree with me, and I don't want to get the radio station in trouble.
No, don't say it.
Why it is they go at that hour of the night when the man in high spirits for you to sign that thing? That is the most deceptive and dangerous part of the whole thing. I am not saying he was part of it, don't misunderstand me. I'm saying why did they choose that time to do that? Why didn't they go any man have a clear head? If they wanted to do that at all. That is the deceptive part of that whole thing. It's how deceptive some people could be in politics and dangerous.
All right, thank you very much.
I wonder if you follow me.
I follow you.
Okay, all right. I ain't saying anybody give him anything to drink.
No.
Don't misunderstand.
All right. Thank you. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, Pastor Google.
Good afternoon.
But again, boy, that's why they call it Google. That was so deceptive by the then government. And Pastor Google is the hypocrisy of certain people, like your partner from Don Pinal. This morning, I listened to him. I said, Lord, these people and them really believe that we dotish and foolish in La La Land. You imagine, the next day, these people and them attorneys was in court speaking their freedom, knowing fully well that the people in the United States of America has already confessed to this heinous, corruptive crime, transplanting money from Trinidad to the United States of America. Like we don't want it for, And the United States of America was given free visa for them to come and answer the cause in the United States of America. But there came Mr. Ram Logan. No. They don't have to be executed. There would be speedy trials here in Trinidad and Tobago. Today, Google, these people promising to sue the state and claiming that there was out $30 million. You hear that? Pastor Google, $30 million. This is what he spent. And the hypocrisy of these opposition people, they should cover them out with duct tape. So, Pastor Google, thank you very much for allowing us to hear these tapes, and I'm including the last one by the then opposition leader, Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Pastor Google.
Thank you. Hello, good afternoon.
Pastor Google?
Aye.
I didn't hear the only part of the program, but I came out here, you played that tape by Justin Vonley, and he said he was responsible for Section 34.
Yes.
Yeah, but you all had that tape before? We don't get that.
That tape has
I never heard that tape before that he was responsible. Because all the time they say Section 34 is the Prime Minister make it do it, is the President General. That tape you played, I know it. Look, I come up and said, but I thought you all said with the Prime Minister responsible for Section 34. Bonnie said he was responsible. I remember doing that. And the second thing is this. The case against
what you're saying is that Mr. Volney, I played a clip with Mr. Volney said that he was responsible. Right? But before that, I played another clip where Mr. Volney said that he was not responsible.
He was not responsible. I didn't hear that one. But I heard that when I watched that, Volney said that he was responsible. I mean, I heard a number of times already. He said, all right, that's another matter. The case against Galbraithing, why did the Covid Council throw it out? What was the reason?
Why did they throw it out?
Yeah.
Because they said it had political interference.
Okay. So, so all these things about who played this thing and reprisal, that was responsible for the case. All these things are bygone. What was political interference was the chief thing. All these things was responsible. It's political interference. So these things about Logan and them. The Privy Council, like I said, that was never the case. It failed because of political interference thing. Otherwise,
the political interference, so you know what political interference you were talking about?
They're talking about John Jeremy and Mark Pickles with the case of the land. That is what the Privy Council said, not with Logan and them.
Oh.
The political interference was with John Jeremy and the magistrate, not with Logan. That didn't come before the British Council. The reason go back and you only prepare on your state and you'll see it. They are nothing but they mentioned nothing about Logan. They mentioned it was John Jeremy and Mark William with some land business and they met Chama. Political interference. If that was so, the case that is going on. Go on get read the judgment at the Privy Council and see what's happening. That is the reason. And if political interference, the case that is going on still, we're not in a situation. I mean, they could chastise them all up on them. But the Privy Council will have nothing to do with that.
All right,
it had to do with political affairs with the Chief Magistrate and John Jeremy and them with the land business. Okay? Thanks a lot, brother.
Justice was revoked 2 days ago. MP Herbert Volney has openly shared his side of the story with the public, saying that he tendered his resignation before the public announcement that he had been fired. But on social media site Facebook this morning, a further statement was posted in the name of MP Herbert Volney. It reads, I want to thank the hundreds of people from all walks of life for your support for me and my family. We are people of faith and we are covered by the blood of Jesus Christ. We need now to pray to God for strength for our Prime Minister, who is now overcome by Anand Ramlogan, that she may purge herself of the influence of one who is unelected by the people but influences her in a way that we the people must fear. Later in the evening, yet another update was posted. It reads, to the hundreds of people who have lent their support to my family and me, the truth has been told. Please lend our Prime Minister your heart so that she will have the strength and vision to see what is wrong and deal with it. Pray for her. I am already covered and spared by my dismissal. When CNC3 contacted Mr. Volney today for confirmation that he had personally updated his profile, he refused to comment. We also placed a call to Attorney General Anand Ramlogan, who said that he was unavailable to comment because he was busy with a personal matter. For CNC3 News.
So that was for the caller just now. And to confirm that story, Mr. Volney would have retracted his statements because he was going to face a lawsuit. Right? He was going to face a lawsuit by Anand Ramlogan. And what happened? What happened? You remember what happened? Okay. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I remember because they had so much power. You hear what the man said? The man had to retract his statement and give some money to a charity of his choice.
Thank you.
You see the kind of power them Them that play. Yeah, what you tell the man? He disrespecting him and his office. But you know now them could call and want to tell my Attorney General almost anything any Prime Minister. That I have no respect for nobody now, you know. But you have your respect for them. And he was the man depositing him at 40-something thousand. Pastor Google enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm glad you remember. Because like some people tend to make us feel that we could forget.
I hope you like this one. The chorus is hish. Gotta get his sneeze with that.
Former Justice Minister Herbert Volney, during a news conference held at the office of the Attorney General earlier today, admitted that he was responsible for the controversial proclamation of Section 34. Mr. Volney, a former St. Joseph MP, apologized to Attorney General Alan Ramlogan for the defamatory statements he'd made against him. CNews' Shirley Lewis attended the news conference and brought back this report.
Hello, good afternoon.
Pastor Google.
Oh, Lord.
Pastor Google.
Yes.
I only hear you talking about Volney and this one and that one. But the real reason the case the Privy Council judgment is it's around you're talking nothing about that.
Look, I know what I'm talking about.
That I take full responsibility for Section 34. I was the line minister at the Ministry of Justice, and having come from a background in the criminal justice system as a judge and as a former prosecutor, I was the one who not only helped to calibrate Section 34 and to bring it about, but also to have it amended in the Senate.
2 years after the controversial proclamation of Section 34 of the Administration of Justice Indictable Proceedings Act 2012, an apology has come from the former Justice Minister, Herbert Volney. Weeks after its proclamation on August 31, 2012, Section 34 was repealed by the government after public concern was raised that businessmen Iwer Galbaransing and Steve Ferguson stood to benefit. The two men had been facing corruption charges relating to the construction of the Piarco International Airport amounting to hundreds of billions of dollars. It was felt the proclamation of Section 34 would have paved the way for the charges to be dropped on the basis that the matter was over 10 years old. However, Mr. Volney, a retired judge, said today he accepts full responsibility for the proclamation of Section 34. He added that his accusations against A.J. Ramlogan was reckless, but he was hurting because of the manner in which he was fired as a government minister.
The Attorney General had nothing, I repeat, nothing to do with Section 34, other than as a parliamentary colleague to assist me on the floor during the committee stage of the Senate in particular.
Adrian Logan said he was pleased that they were able to settle the matter and that Mr. Volney can publicly retract the defamatory statements made against him. At the time, Mr. Volney had said he was being made the fall guy and claimed his dismissal was being engineered by Mr. Logan in order to take the heat off the public call for the AG to be fired.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon again. But how that is possible, Pastor Google, when you told me that you resigned before you was fired? If you resigned before you was fired...
They take us for fools. They take us for fools.
Pastor Google, I'm gone.
You hear what the woman say or what?
You want to be leader, you had said you want to be whatever it is, Prime Minister. It don't work so. You have to support your party. You say you support country before party. Well, go to hell. Go to hell. Well, go to hell. Go to hell. Yes.
Good afternoon, Pastor Boone.
Hi, good afternoon.
That is for sure. Anytime they hire black people, it's to do the dirty work. And when they done this, squash them. Think about it.
I get a phone call from Panda recently telling me that the UNC in jeopardy.
All right, so I'm out of here, Trinidad and Tobago. You know my time has gone, but I hope that what I would have played for you would have brought back to your remembrance why you should not allow people to come now to present themselves as though they are saints. Right? They are not. No way doing. No way doing, Trinidad and Tobago. No way doing. I'm out of here. Have a blessed afternoon.
Anything I go do, watch me now. I'm say Jesus wants all of you. Well, everybody say why yo. We say why yo. Father, if I'm living to please you, that's anything I go do. I'm just saying, Jesus wants all of you. Jesus wants all of me. With some things or sometimes 7 days of the week. Jesus wants all of you. Jesus wants all of me. For everything and all time. Jesus Christ. But many people in the world today, they want to receive the blessing for them now. What the blessing? No longer want to be that. Fallen predicament, they need a deliverance. They want the healing, but I'm now want the healer. Look in them life, God have no residence. And earth the pleasures, them all over take precedence. Think of this world, no promote them intelligence. Yes, man, give it. Watch this. Nothing free a minute, we gotta watch face. No. Hey, cause each and every morning, I'm still I get grace. Yeah. You will not say, come on to me if you heavy and laden, and I will rest. But if my problem solver, but if not a sweat, you want all of it. You want all of me. Ask me some things or sometimes 7 days of the week. Jesus wants all of you. Jesus wants all of me. It's everything and all time. Watch this. I went to take a free. Missy man a buy house. Can't just we bring themselves like a happiness. Man a go down by club. Drink rum, smoke weed. The temporal enjoyment. What them not know? Money can't buy happiness. I let them choose within the life of an actress. Man on me, bargain with the devil. Now the rich and famous. But I'm look. Nothing for a minute. We gotta watch face. No, sir. Cause each and every Wednesday I will burn down the place. Yeah. Come on to me if you're heavy and